Welcome back, Major League Fantasy basketball owners. I hope you all enjoyed the basketball draft order video. I hope you all are starting to make arrangements and try to figure out exactly who you're going to draft and where, and whether you're going to try to make a move or not. Hope your minds are working at this point. Also, I hope you've gone over to our website and kind of gone over some of the rules for trading, which is what this video is going to be directed towards. We developed, and I'll jump right into it, we developed our own trading system after using several different systems for the first couple of years, 08, 09. We changed in 2010. I developed this over a couple of years, and the reason we came up with this is we don't do league voting and trades because it just seemed like it just always seemed like the owners were always voting their own self-interest within a trade. There was somebody bickering and arguing about this or that, and then we also over time we developed these little trading cliques and people trading with themselves and nobody ever knowing players were available, and then some guys were arguing collusion. We're like, oh, well, these guys are always trading, so they're colluding. So I came up with a system that pretty much it puts it out in the open. It's very fair. It eliminates those types of concerns because the rules must be followed. And again, the situation is the best for all parties involved. People maybe not involved in the trade, but then also the person that is proposing some sort of a deal. It's more of an open market type system where it will be broadcast to the league that XYZ players available or XYZ team in the league is looking to make a move based on whatever criteria they decide to base it on. That way, everybody will have a chance to get the player. And what I mean by that, it's real simple. It's a lot simpler process than it sounds. And if you go read on the website, it'll go through all the details. And I really went above and beyond to explain every little nuance. I even highlighted some key points in red so you kind of get and understand those things. And I'll go over some of the commonly asked questions or confusions once I get through the process. Very simple. It starts with your first step. If you are looking to make a deal or a trade, be it draft picks or players, there's 3 steps. Step number 1 is you're going to send a league-wide email. On ESPN, on the league homepage at the top, right underneath the black tabs, there's a sublink that you can click on that says League Email. That's going to be your first step. You're going to click on that League Email button, and then you're going to send an email out to the league that basically gives them an idea that you're looking to make a move. It can be very specific. It can be very vague. It's essentially alerting. All it's really for is to alert the other 15 owners in the league that there's somebody actively looking to shop for players. Now, once you send that league-wide email, that's the first step. The second step is going to be you're going to then copy that exact email. You're going to copy that email, and you're going to start a thread on the message board, the league page home message board, and you're going to paste it to that message, to that thread. That's step 2. Now, there's going to be a time and a date associated with that thread, which is very important actually, the time and that date. There's going to be, once that thread is posted, there's going to be a 72-hour window where no official trade or move can be completed. Now what that means is, during the first 72 hours, starting on the thread, based on the time and date associated with the thread that you posted, for 72 consecutive hours, a trade cannot be complete. That doesn't mean you can't agree to a trade on the message board, because that is part of it. You do have to both agree to it on the message board. You can do that if you like. It definitely behooves the trade thread owner to not do that until after that window's up, because it gives everybody time to come in and bid on your guy. Because if I come in and offer XYZ player, maybe another owner doesn't get a chance to get on and check that out for a couple of days, and then he comes in with a better offer. With better players. So you get the concept there. And what I mean by this, once that 72-hour period is up, let's assume that you completed a deal with somebody on the thread at that point. You both have agreed to it. Okay, and you both have said, I agree to the trade. Once the 72-hour period is up, then, and only then, from that time forward, you can go to your team page and click on Propose Trade, That then sends that email over to your trade partner. Your trade partner then goes in and either accepts or denies the trade. Once it's accepted, it then sends me an email, and it also leaves me a note on the home page that I need to rule on a trade. That is what we will refer to as an official offer. An official offer is when you go to through the software on your team page, you click propose trade, you send over the players you're interested in trading or preference or whatever, and your opponent agrees. That is a binding trade. Once it gets to me and I have time to review it, I have 24 hours to review the validity of the trade. I'll approve or disapprove. I almost never veto a trade. Very, very, very rarely do I have to veto a trade. There's really not a whole lot of reasons for me to veto a trade, unless I think there's collusion or some sort of nonsense going on, or it's just completely ridiculous, like LeBron for some nobody or something stupid like that. But I think everybody's smart enough to not do something like that. So once that is finished, those players will then be added onto your team, and it's all done. Now let's assume that you don't come up with a deal within that 72-hour period. Okay, you've got from the time that thread is posted. You have exactly 2 weeks from the date that thread is posted to complete a deal with somebody. If you can't complete a deal within 2 weeks, then you need to start the process over again if you still want to trade. You just start again. You send out a league-wide email, you start a new thread. Once that 2 week period is up anyway and you haven't completed one, I'm going to go in and say trade thread is now closed, no deal made within 2 weeks. The area that usually confuses people when they first start using this is the 72-hour period and the 2 week thing always confuses them. It's very simple. You have 2 whole weeks to complete a deal. No deal can be ratified by the league or approved by the league or sent over for official acceptance until 72 hours has passed. You have to both agree to the deal, to the trade on the message board. You guys can talk about it on the phone, you can text about it, you can email it, however you want to handle that. But the offers that you guys are sitting back and forth or talking about on the phone via text or email need to be posted on the message board. And the trade thread owner, it behooves you to post those things on the message board. If your partner is offering you X for Y or XY for Z and he won't post it, then you go post it. You say, hey, I'm considering your offer of such and such for such and such. So other owners know that that player, somebody is interested in your player, and somebody might come in and make a better deal for you. It works equally for everybody. It keeps it all out in the open. If somebody's trying to collude or cheat or do something shady, it's all going to be borne out on the message board, and we're all smart enough to know if there's bullshit going on. It's really not that tough to use. Initially, there is some growing pains with some of the new people that have never used the system before. So, I do understand that I have to be patient with this situation and have to monitor it until you guys really get used to using it. On our website, MajorLeagueFantasySports.com, along the top of the page, there's menus, and just underneath those menus, on the left, you'll see MLFS rules, regs, and payouts. If you click on that link, it will take you over to the page that will discuss it in full detail. I even provided an example of a perfect trade thread that was used in our baseball league this year, so you can actually see it, how that worked and how it played out. So I'll give you a visual, so you kind of understand that a little bit more. But I always, for one reason or another, it seems like some people really dig into the rules and read and understand it, others do not. So I didn't want to open up the trade, the trading system before we draft until I did this video and everybody understands it. I'm going to post a message post a thread on the message board myself, and you're going to have to post it if you've watched this video and you understand the trading system. Obviously, if you have any questions, you can just text or email me or whatever. I also want to address a mistake I made on the draft order videos where I said we only have a week to trade. A little bit of ahead of myself. Our draft is not until the 22nd, Tuesday night. So what we're going to do is we're going to run the trading from today. I'm opening it up today, Sunday, and it's going to run for 2 weeks. Okay, from today's date, which is the 6th, it's going to run until Sunday the 20th, and I'm going to shut it down at 11 p.m. Eastern Time on the 20th. Okay, so that's 2 Sundays from now, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. No trades can be completed after that. Now, there might be a question that comes up later. Let's say there's 2 days left in this 2-week period that we're trading in. And you're like, well, I want to trade with somebody. Can I post a thread and then, can you just make an exception and only, not have the 72? No. If you want to complete a deal, before then, what I would recommend that you do, just make it easy, is we get 2 weeks within our bylaws for trading anyway. So open up a trade thread, today or tomorrow, and you'll have that whole time to wheel and deal and maneuver and negotiate or whatever it is that you want to do. Because I could see some guys interested in maybe trading up or trading down, based on what their strategy is going to be for the league. I also wanted to go over, on top of the trading, okay, any questions that if you don't understand the system, outside of that, just contact me. And I might have missed one thing. Step 3 is just me going in and approving it. So that's a 3-step process. The first step is send a league-wide email. The second step is you have the 72-hour, post a thread on the message board, the 72-hour period. You have up to 2 weeks to make the deal. And then step 3 is me going in and approving your trade. No voting, no fuss, no muss, no BS. The next item I wanted to discuss is legal rosters. What a legal roster is in this league. You have a maximum of 40 games a week that you can start. 40. Okay, how I came up with that number is we have 12 guys in our active roster, and we have three IR spots. We have 12 guys, 4 guys on our bench, and 8 guys in the active lineup. So that's 12. The average NBA team plays 3.4 games per week throughout the season. So I basically just multiplied that number by 12, and it was came up to roughly 40. So I decided to go with that 40 number. Now, what needs to be monitored is you're going to go into certain weeks. This is really easy to do on your team page. You look at your schedule and you see how many games you have. There's no excuse you don't know. You can only start 40. So if you go into Sunday and you've already got 38 starts, okay, and then Sunday rolls around and you got 6 more guys that can start, well, you're going to have to bench 4 of those guys, so you can only have a max of 40. Well, here's the issue, is that you can't have, in that starting 8, there can be no holes, period. You cannot have an empty spot in that starting 8. There cannot be an empty spot. There cannot be a guy that's out or injured or doesn't play or whatever. If something happens and a guy gets injured that day before the game starts, that's understandable. That's one thing. But again, I'll give you an example. If I start the week, I look and see that I've got 46 starts this week, right? I need to go look at my lineup for the week and figure out how am I going to be able to keep a legal roster all week, who should I bench, who should I sit, etc., etc. It shouldn't take that long to do, especially with the level of experience that we have with the owners. Everybody said that they're basically pros. I mean, obviously we're all new to each other here playing in basketball, so I guess that remains to be seen. But that is a huge deal. Must be followed. Can never have an empty spot. You can never have an empty spot in your lineup, in your active lineup, and you can never start more than 40 guys. ESPN has a stupid glitch in their system where you can actually go over that limit of 40 if you start those guys on Sunday. If you go into Sunday with still some availability and let's say you made 39 starts through the whole week. Let's say you made 39 starts all the way up through Saturday. Going into Sunday, let's say you've got 7 more starts. Well, ESPN software will, and you started all, let's say you started all 7 for a total of 46. ESPN software will allow you to do that. So this has to be monitored. So every single team in the league needs to monitor their opponent. Everybody polices their opponent. Okay, and if somebody's breaking the rules, don't feel bad to contact me and we'll fix it. We'll make sure that that's taken care of. How this is going to work, okay? For empty spots in your lineup, any empty spot, or any player that you go over the cap. So let's say you ended up starting 41 guys when you knew you can only start 40. For every guy you go over, there's going to be a $5 penalty, and obviously I'm going to strip that guy out of your lineup, and there's going to be a $5 penalty for each player you go above 40. For each player for each empty active slot that you do not put a player in, that's also going to cost you $5. Okay, so I mean, really, the only way to get people to really focus and follow this rule is to cost you from a monetary standpoint. Everybody has a $100 bank coming into the league, coming into the season. Everybody paid $200. There's a $100 owner fee, and the $100 is your bank for moves and trades. So each violation, either an empty spot in your lineup is $5, or every player you go over 40 is another $5. Plus, I have to take the guy out of your lineup. I can't allow you to accumulate those stats. Okay, you won't lose the player. I'm not going to drop the player or send him into the waiver pool, but he will be removed from your lineup. I don't really anticipate us having too much of an issue with this stuff. So I think everybody's pretty sophisticated and understands how basketball works, or fantasy basketball, that is, and why this needs to be in place. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the video with those two items, with the trading system and with the penalties. Just to reiterate, trading system, 3 steps. League-wide email, step 1. Step 2, copy the email, post the thread on the message board. There's 72 hours before a trade can actually be officially sent over for me to rule on. You have 2 whole weeks to make the deal, and the third step is me just going in and approving your deal. Okay? The next thing is no empty spots in your active lineup. Your active lineup is those 8 spots. Your bench is another story, but those 8 spots have to have active players in them. Whether they're playing that day or not doesn't matter. As long as that player's on an NBA team, that's fine. As long as they're not injured or anything like that. And then any going above the 40 games limit cap is going to cost you $5 per player above the cap, same as it would for having an empty slot in your active roster. Anybody that has any questions about these 2 items of business can contact me directly, and we'll go over them more. I'm going to do another video late next week, maybe mid to late next week, about some of the other little nuances of the league, so everybody understands thoroughly. Again, we need everybody to police each other, police your opponent in your matchup, report any violations to me, so I can monitor them. Steve Krebs backed out of the system, so he was supposed to be running the day-to-day commissioner duties for the league, but he decided not to back out and do something else, I guess. So it's kind of left for me to do all this stuff, so I need a little bit of help, and the little bit of help would be policing each other and reporting violations to me. So any further questions, anything that you need, you know where to get me, and good luck. Happy trading.